This
10
conference will
plus.
now be recorded.
Able to hear me, right? Just to check. Guys, you can hear me, right? Just to check.
Yeah, yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's fine then. So basically, myself, Sai, is having like 10 plus years of experience on SAP completely. So I have mostly SAP Ariba, like basically like upstream, downstream, and the integration. And also I do work on SAP MM and some part of SAP EWM, and even initially I was an SAP developer as well. So I was completely into most of the SAP modules, and also I have done a lot of in the initial phase I had done a lot of SAP testing, like not only procurement side, even SAP PP, everything. And also I used to currently was mostly working to fulfill the product gaps. Let's say, for example, whenever the business was having some sort of transformation. Let's say, for example, the business want to migrate their legacy contracts to the Ariba. So currently, I'm just working for the one of the client for the product gap, where in case they want to migrate their contracts to Ariba. So those contracts were stored in like a SharePoint and different legacy system. So basically, I was much into the enhancements as of now, like enhancement of the product gaps, like giving some workarounds or a good solution to the customers uh, for the better users of Ariba. And basically, here our agenda is to in the CAG trying to understand like basically, let's say if I talk about CAG, right? So it's basically like
Sai, are
SAP.
you presenting the screen, Sai?
No, no, I'm just fine. So I'm the
Okay.
share. So basically, the agenda of the training is to for you guys to understand like what is the CAG, and before the CAG came in, how the integration was happening, and what are the benefits of the CAG, and once the CAG was implemented, right, how it is helpful for your daily usage. So to completely understand to integrate your
Sorry to interrupt you
CAG.
again, Sai. We
Yeah,
can see the thank you page actually. Okay.
okay.
Are you presenting the same or anything else?
I think my screen got stuck. Like,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. No, it's fine. So the agenda is to you guys to just learn the and understand the CAG benefits and drawbacks, and why what the customer willing to use CAG even though they have some SAP PI and PO for the integration, and also to integrate this CAG to both the Ariba network and also the our SAP system. So I mean like to use the CAG for both the indirect procurement where you manage from your Ariba buyer solution, and also to have the direct procurement where in case you have the integration from SAP to uh, supply network. So we can just compare the things like how before the things were happening for the CAG and now how it was happening now. So if I just go to the CAG thing, right? So we have multiple things like basically when it comes to Ariba CAG, right? We basically do the two things. Like one thing, we integrate our SAP system to our
So your
SAP
voice was breaking.
by.
Yeah,
Let me come there. Now it's little fine.
it's fine now. It's
Is
fine. Thank
yeah. So basically, when it comes to CAG role, right? We do two things. First thing, we integrate our CAG to our Ariba solution. It might be Ariba suite solution or something like maybe upstream, downstream, like what are the solution the client was having. And other thing, we integrate the SAP to the supply network to manage the direct procurement. So I mean to say like to manage our direct procurement, indirect procurement, and also the sourcing everything. these are the two integration things we do in the CAG. And if you can see here, right, this is a basic overview, uh, like how what is SAP Ariba Cloud Integration Gateway and the required add-ons required, and also the basic enablements and the customization and everything. And if you can see the other slide, right, if you can see here, right, yeah, you can see the how the master data integration happen, how the Ariba network integration happen, and all other integrations. So talking, and if you can see here, right, this is the basic diagram of CAG, how your SAP system is connected to the uh, your buyer system via CAG. So keeping the PPT away, we can just discuss about the CAG and everything. So you both guys already have the Ariba experience, right? You're working on Ariba, like you're only, I mean, like you're completed the Ariba, right? Upstream things and
I am working for Ariba. So actually, I
okay.
have experience in upstream and downstream both. But but not in the integration part because
Hmm.
CPI is we have a separate CPI team and whatever we are doing the communication with the ERP system that is via CIG and that is through XML file like any PRP or
Okay.
any receipt is getting generated that's going through XML file. So yeah, that is what I have seen.
Yeah. What about the other guy? Like
We,
even you have the experience,
we
Ariba
are
experience, right?
we are new to SAP Ariba.
Okay. Okay. So are you aware of the basic things? Let's say, for example, about the SAP Ariba. Like, let's say, for example, what is upstream, what is the downstream, and this procurement, sourcing. You're aware of the supply chain process, right? Basic supply chain and everything, right? I mean the basic function stuff like.
If
Yeah,
you
Sai,
can
for
explain me
me,
that will.
Sorry, Kaja, I'm unable to hear you properly. Can you come again?
No, if you can explain us, if you can actually explain us, that will be better.
Okay, okay then. Yeah. Let me just give a simple thing. So, Kaja, you were from SAP background, like which module? Like, I haven't heard properly. So, I mean, I just want to understand, like, what your expertise on the SAP and those skills that.
See, I've been working in MM module all those, but the terminology with upstream, downstream, all this comes into Ariba, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, no issues. Yeah, but you are the SAP MM consultant, right? You know the basic stuff, right? Procurement and the. In general, I'm just talking
Yeah,
not
yeah,
only SAP MM.
that
Yeah,
I
in
am
the.
aware, but yes,
Yeah.
SAP Ariba terminology I am not aware.
Okay, okay, fine, fine. No issues, no issues. I can just give a kick off. So just give a little um, overview of SAP Ariba. So basically, what was happening, right? So basically, Ariba was already there in around I think 2012 or 14. Ariba was indirect procurement tool. So the Ariba was already there around 2012 or 14. So basically, Ariba is meant for the indirect. It's an indirect procurement tool. So the agenda for Ariba is to make the procurement easy. I mean to say, I can say ease of procurement. So later on in, I think around 2016 or something, right? What actually happened, like SAP started acquiring some things in market instead of building from the scratch. Let's say, for example, SAP already have a good market globally. They have everything, so they just want to buy some tools and just own the tools to get more visibility. In such case, what they have done, they already observed like, okay, Ariba is already good for indirect procurement, so they have just acquired Ariba and make them a cloud solution. Same way, if you observe, right, SAP Concur, where we book the travel expenses and everything, even that is also a standalone tool which was acquired by SAP, and it has become the SAP Concur. So these big companies, let's say for example SAP or Oracle or other companies, right? They were just targeting the some smaller companies in the market which was already there in the competition instead of building something from the scratch. So this thing happened. So then this SAP Ariba picture uh, came in place. Let me share one of my presentation quickly. You guys can see the presentation, right? New thing, new presentation.
Yes, I can see.
Yep, yeah. So if you can see that, if I talk about SAP Ariba, if you can observe this logo, right? Basically, this logo indicates one arrow is for the supplier and other arrow is for buyer. So it's basically SAP Ariba indicates like the collaboration between the supplier and the buyer. Yeah. So if you can see this overview, right? So this is already there. Ariba, as I mentioned earlier, right? Ariba was already there in the market as an indirect procurement tool. Later on, SAP has just acquired and made it as a B2B like end-to-end business tool. So this is something like just an overview you can see. And as I mentioned earlier, right? So basically, the agenda of Ariba is to just make the procurement easier. Let's say, for example, if I just compare Ariba with SAP MM, right? Let's say, for example, what I always believe is whenever we have some new tool or something to be implemented, right? The end of the day, we need to think a couple of things. First thing, the user experience and the user adoption. Other thing, the return of investment. So basically, if I just compare the SAP MM with SAP Ariba, right? Let's say, for example, simple creation of requisition. Let's say, for example, if I want to create a requisition in SAP MM, right? I need to just log on to the SAP. Then I need to give the T code I recall like MB51N. Then I need to give the required material number or the description, what are the thing. So these things should be handy for a user, like whenever they want to procure something. When I talk about the SAP MM point of view, right? So these are required. They need to enter the T code and they need to give the required material number or location, what are the things, and they can book a purchase requisition. So later on, what was happened, right? SAP came with SAP S4 HANA, where in case we ideally have these Siri apps. In such case, what was happening, right? It make the user experience little better. Basically, the Siri screens looks little better, and also if I talk about the Siri screens, right? In such case, you don't need to remember the T code. Like you can directly enter the uh, simple time name. Let's say, for example, user want to create a requisition. Instead of remembering the T code, right? He can simply just enter create requisition. So what are the tool? Always the end, the end outcome will be like it should be easier to use and to get the best outcome. So if I talk about now SAP Ariba, right? Let's say for example the user just want to buy some laptops for his team. So in this case, right, it's a simple cloud tool which looks like something like a Flipkart or Amazon. So he can just simply search for the laptop and he can add to the cart and he can just place the requisition. So if you simply compare these things, right, in Ariba, the way of requisition creation process is much simpler when it comes to SAP MM, and also the user experience. I can say like Ariba, we can just log into the mobile or maybe to the tablet or something, and makes the user's life much easier actually. Till now, clear? Any doubts? Like just the overview, just talking the some examples. Any doubts or something you want to add up?
I think till now it's okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, anything is fine. Is maybe a right or wrong. We can just start learning something. That's all.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. So here you can see. Just I want to make you guys basically the Ariba agenda is to give the better experience and cloud thing and everything. And if I talk into Ariba, right, basically Ariba was divided into two things. Like one is called the upstream, other the downstream. So if you can see, right, this is if you can see supplier information management SAP MM. So now this was updated to SLP. We are calling it supplier lifecycle management. So basically in the upstream, you basically manage your supplier sourcing contracts. So all the research activities will happen in the upstream. And basically why it was named as upstream and downstream, right? Basically you can only create the requisition once you have some contracts or sourcing. I mean, like, whenever you have the source of supply, right, then only we can procure something. So that's thing, like, you just start with the upstream, things go to downstream. So in the upstream, what you guys will be doing is that basically you will just doing the managing the supplier and doing the sourcing, creating some contracts. When it will come to the downstream, it's a complete procurement process. I can say it's a P2P. Like, you can just start from the requisition to till invoicing. So these are the two streams basically. And let me give some question for you. Let's say, for example, you're just working for one of the clients, and as of now, they don't have any tool. I mean, uh, complete source to pay tool they don't have. They were just managing their things in email. Like, let's say, for example, they want to create some contract and do some sourcing, right? Those customers were just managing with the emails or the phone calls and also the orders as well. Now they want to implement a solution, and you are about to suggest SAP Ariba to them. So this case, what you will say to the customer, like, I mean, the package. Let's say, for example, you will ask the customer to implement upstream or the downstream. Like, what is the approach you'll follow in this case? Like, whenever a requirement come to you, and as a Ariba consultant, what is the way you just suggest to customer about Ariba? Like, I mean, like, you will just suggest it upstream or downstream. Like, what is the analysis you will do from your side?
Uh, Sai, I think
Hmm.
uh, we will approach the supplier for the upstream first, because because getting supplier into system is the first thing.
Hmm.
Without supplier, how can they manage, how can they communicate? Okay, so getting supplier into Ariba, register them into Ariba network, and and register them with the buyer network, and as well as upstream will help to do the all the like
Hmm.
whatever RFQ auction is going on, whatever things there, Ariba will help. So I think upstream first, and then we will slowly move to downstream.
Yeah, I mean, technically you're correct, but I was just talking about much functionally. I mean, so let's say if I was a Ariba consultant, right? So in this case, what I will
Mhm.
do, first thing I just talk with the customer. Okay, so in this year, how many new suppliers you're working with, and as of now, what is the supplier count, and this year, what is the sourcing you have done, and this year, what are the contracts you have done, and also this year, how many invoice you have created, how many requisitions you created. Let's say, for example, that particular customer basically was not doing much sourcing. They only have the fixed vendor. Let's say, for example, they have 100 vendors, and they keep on doing the same business. They, let's say, they are just selling some, buying something. So they have only 100 suppliers, and basically they are not doing any sourcing or something. So in this case, what I will suggest to my customer, see, based on your business, I handle it such a way you are not much into sourcing, or you're not creating some contracts. You basically just fulfilling your needs with your existing customer, I mean the existing suppliers. So what I will suggest to them, okay, we can just go with the downstream, like P2P, instead of implementing everything. So we can go with the P2P. Let's say in case they were not doing the
Uh, uh,
sourcing.
Sai,
Yep.
one question here. So you meant to
Hmm.
say directly P2P, directly downstream?
Yep.
But actually, what problem I have faced here, like
Hmm.
so now there are some suppliers, we who are like less interested in Ariba, okay, but still we
Yeah.
need those suppliers in our system, because we need to purchase something from them, okay.
Hmm.
Now 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 directly downstream means, we are not getting them registered in upstream, right? We are
Yeah. Right.
directly importing the supplier in downstream. So then while
Exactly.
sending the PR, I mean while sending the PO, we got this error that this supplier is not in Ariba network, so the PO cannot be sent to supplier.
Yeah, so basically in this case, right? So if you can see the supply data, we will have a one thing called order routing method. So in that
Yeah.
case, you can set as email. So basically, this is the common thing for all the customers. So let's say, for example, what was happening, right? leave about the SLP and everything. So when a
Hmm.
supplier will register on the supplier network, right? Basically, they have two things: a light account, full account. Basically, the light account or the standard account is something which is free of cost. Okay. Once
Yeah,
the
standard account.
supplier login, right? Yeah, the standard
Hmm.
account has one thing. They can only receive. I won't amount the account, but initial phase such a way they can only receive 100 POs in a month. If let's
Yeah,
say for example, if I send one more PO, it will not go to supplier. It will stop. And also other thing, the supplier can't load the catalogs when it
yeah,
comes to standard
that's
account.
true.
When it comes to
Correct.
the enterprise account, right, he can manage everything. Let's say, for example, you are having 100 suppliers, out of them, 10 are very small suppliers. Hardly they create 20 out of something very small supplier. So basically, they can't spend something for your orders to create some enterprise account. So in this case, what we can do, they will just create a standard account initially, and even though they don't create a standard account, right, when we configure data, right? So in this case, what we're doing is basically the supplier was sending their catalogs to our email or something. Let's say, for example, they had 20 items. They will just send an email to us. So we will locally upload the catalogs in the system. So basically, you have
Yes.
the catalogs, you have the supplier, everything. Later, what he was doing, we were either connecting with the Ariba network and the order was routing to the supplier. If not, the supplier is not completely interested. Maybe there might be some restrictions in their country or something. In such case, what we were doing, we were just keeping the order routing address email. So only thing in this case, what was happening, the way of working of suppliers will differ, but the user will be same. The user can still see the catalog in the system. The requisition process or the GR process or the invoice process, everything will be same from a user point of view. Only thing, whatever the action the suppliers will take place, that will be done in the email. So this is the, I mean, common thing for all the suppliers basically. And this is the
Okay.
way we are working for all the suppliers, like managing via email. If not, we are just forcing the supplier to just have the light account.
I think
Clear?
the sound is.
Any
Yeah. Okay. Yes. 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 Uh,
clear?
but Sai,
Clear?
like,
Continue. Hmm.
yeah. But Sai, like, you mentioned about catalog, right? Now
Yep.
the regular catalog what we upload through
Hmm.
Excel and CIF file, right? Okay.
Hmm. Yep.
Right. So that catalog also we upload in Upstream, right? Because in my cases, I go to Upstream, I go to core admin, and from the catalog management, I upload the catalog. I do those steps and all, and then I subscribe the catalog, and then it shows in downstream.
No, no, basically this catalog is comes under downstream, not the upstream basically. So whatever the thing you're talking about, the core administrator, right? That is completely
Hmm.
downstream. And the administrator option, you can see two things, okay? If you click on
Hmm.
manage, right, you can see two things. One is core administrator, another is administrator. So
Yes, yes, correct.
core
Hmm.
administrator is something for the downstream activities. And administrator is something upstream. If you quickly observe, right, if you click on administrator, you can see
Hmm.
project manager, contracts, those things, and
Hmm.
users and everything. And if you click on core admin, you can see user management, uh, catalog use and everything. So basically, whatever you're saying, it's downstream, not the upstream, basically.
Okay, okay.
And many of the clients, basically, I observed like uh, who were just doing the same business, right? They didn't go with the any upstream. Simply they have the downstream, and in case the supplier don't want to use Ariba, they were simply exporting catalogs locally in their system with the help of supplier, and they were either keeping the thing as email. So this is the thing happening actually. Because let's say for example, your supplier, I mean your customer doesn't do much of sourcing or contracts. There was some standalone procurement. So in this case,
Hmm.
if you try to implement sourcing and contracts, there is not much of use. It's a waste of money for the customer, and also the return of investment will be very less, I can say. So basically, as a consultant, right, these things need to observe. Okay, my client was using these things much. These were using good. Let's say, for example, it's up to you. Like you can take the form. Let's say, for example, you can let's say you have the supplier risk in your company. Like you want whatever the supplier you want to do the business, you want the supplier to be highly evaluated. In such cases, what you can do, you can just only take the supplier module in the upstream, and downstream you can take it, and sourcing and contracts you can leave it So it's up to, I mean, the business scenarios or the business process followed by supplier. Like,
Understood. Okay.
so this is something. So earlier it was like Ariba supplier information management and supplier performance management. Now it's together called the SLP. So just to make the it clear, like things keep on changing. Let's say for example, earlier we don't have CAG. We basically have CA9, where in case you're using SAP, PA and PO. So the process will be same, but the namings are something will be changed. Let's say for example, Ariba network, now they're calling it business network. Earlier it was Ariba network. So there might be some naming changes, but don't worry, we can just continue the process, I can say. So this is something like basically like what is Ariba? Like basically say cloud tool to make procurement easier, and basically we have upstream and downstream, both together simply called as source to pay. Like you can do your sourcing till the payment. So and one major thing is, I mean, it can be a drawback and also can also say the benefit. Ariba is only indirect procurement basically. So when I talk about procurement, basically we have three types of procurement. It's direct procurement, indirect, and special procurement. So, but Ariba is only supporting indirect procurement because when Ariba was launched, right, they thought of uh, introducing these tools only for the indirect procurement. So I can say like S2P of indirect procurement is Ariba. So you guys are aware, right? This indirect procurement, direct procurement. You're fine, right, with those terminology and everything.
Yeah, yeah, sir.
Yeah, no problem. If anything is there, you can just ask me. Not an issue. Like, so if you can see, right, I have just mentioned here like indirect procurement. And if I miss something, so basically I can say S2P solution indirect procurement. So you guys know like why Ariba was not supporting direct procurement? I mean, I already mentioned like Ariba is S2P indirect procurement tool, but are you aware like why Ariba is not supporting direct procurement tool? Like what is the reason or something behind that? Yeah, any answer is fine. Like
Mm,
it might be right or wrong, like whatever.
uh,
If not, simply no is also fine. Like, yeah.
yeah,
Just
can
to,
you, if you explain? Yeah.
yeah. See, basically, when you talk about procurement, like, see, end of the day, agenda should not only be Ariba, you should be like such a like a S2P consultant, like, because whenever you go to the tool, only the screens might be different, but almost everything will be same, like process. Like, let's say, even if you talk about Coupa, Jagger, everything, wherever you go, that maybe the email notification, the integration might change, but whatever the thing is, the procurement never changes. The business will never changes. So when you talk about procurement, right? So basically, we have three types, like direct procurement, indirect procurement, special procurement. So if I just give you example, right? Direct procurement, nothing but let's say, for example, you are just creating a requisition for raw materials. So basically, direct procurement is nothing but the raw materials you are procuring for your manufacturing. So basically, what will happen whenever you procure something, let's say for the raw materials, right? It should have inventory, like it should have the storage location, everything. And when it comes indirect procurement, right? Indirect procurement is nothing but which doesn't require any inventory, do the daily consumable. Let's say, for example, you're just buying some office stationery or some laptops for your team, some team lunch. So that is called indirect procurement. So basically, Ariba doesn't support the direct procurement because if you can see, right, in SAP Ariba, we don't have the inventory. I mean, so if I talk about Ariba, you can only post the GR. Let's say, for example, okay, I got like you can only give the acknowledgement of 5 out of 10 or something, but you can't mention this much deeper, like storage location or this. I mean, the stock management is not possible. Let's say, for example, today you got the some. sort of materials, you are just placing in some storage location 100. And how the manufacturing or something, how actually it will happen, that particular stock will move to another storage location, and there it will happen. So basically, uh, direct procurement deals with the raw materials, and indirect procurement deals with the finished product ready for the use. So as Ariba doesn't have the inventory, right? I mean the stock and everything. So we can't achieve the direct procurement. So basically, all the customers who were using Ariba and SAP as background, right? They were mostly managing their indirect procurement with Ariba, and the direct and the special procurement with their SAP system, basically.
So basically, direct is going through SAP MM directly, right?
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Yes.
So that's the reason, like Ariba basically will mention like indirect procurement, because Ariba, I think when they just create a tool, right, they want to make it one tool for the indirect procurement. That's the reason. And later they haven't had a dedicated inventor something uh, to make it confusion, but that's the reason actually.
Understood.
Yeah, clear, right? So this is the basic overview. I can say like how Ariba has evolved and what is Ariba. Like it's a S2P solution, but basically for the indirect procurement. And these are the different. And when I talk about special procurement, is nothing but this pipeline thing, subcontracting. Let's say for example. So we have a couple of things. So and yeah, one major thing for SAP Ariba is I can say the user licenses. Okay. So let's say, for example, you are having SAP MM and Ariba. When you talk about the money you pay for the user license, the Ariba is much cheaper than to SAP MM. So I can say user license. Other thing you can also say uh, it's a cloud solution. A cloud solution. Cloud solution.
Sai,
Yep.
I have one question appeared in my mind. So in SAP
Hmm.
Ariba, we have different module like which in the previous slide you have shown, right? The
Yeah.
SLP,
Right. Yep.
then the supplier risk and then contract compliance and all this thing. So
Yeah. Right.
basically, like now, suppose a company wants to use Ariba. Okay, now if they are
Hmm.
buying in license, so do the company has to buy each and every module with a separate cost, or like it's in a, or I mean it's a, like all over.
Yeah. So it's basically common. Let's say, for example, let me open the PPT. Yeah. So basically, what are the solution you buy it, right? You basically call it package actually. Let's say, for
Okay.
example, you
Mm-hmm.
already have your SAP system. Okay. Now someone
Mm-hmm.
told you like SAP Ariba is good for Indian procurement and your client want to use it. And the basic
Mm-hmm.
evaluation happened. Then you have decided, let's say, for example, you only thought you want SLP from the upstream, and the downstream you want P2P cycle. See, when I talk about
Mm-hmm.
downstream, right? Downstream again we have
Mm-hmm.
two things. You can either take P2P till invoicing, if not P2O. So mostly I have observed many customers were going for P2O because I think basically invoice is some high risk, right? So basically many companies were having a separate tool. Let's say I heard like VAM, vendor invoice management. So there are some good tools for invoicing market. So basically many customers don't want to disturb that. So they go with the P2O. Like downstream if I talk, they can either
Yeah,
take with the
purchase to order.
P2O,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, P2P, anything is fine. And
So
let's say
P2O
you
basically PTO basically till GR, right?
exactly, yeah,
Till good results done.
exactly, yeah. Then rest
Mm-hmm.
what will happen, the invoicing, let's say for example you have Vim. So basically with the, some custom configuration something that Ariba supply network will integrate with that particular solution, invoice will show such a way. You never see the invoice in Ariba basically. So with the GR
Yeah.
you just stop the cycle here. So you have done the evaluation everything and you will just go to the SAP team like see I want SAP P2P and Ariba. So based on this uh, this combination basically they'll call it a package. So what will happen? They will just enable those things from their side. Then you can see this. Like if you can observe right in the your production system or something, whatever the your client was using, only you can see those things. Let's say you're using only contracting, so you can't see the sourcing. Basically, you ask the combination for the SAP and they will enable it. It is basically called as package. Then other thing about the pricing, right? See, what I observed from my point of view, basically SAP have the customer types. They will say like gold, platinum, silver, everything. So whoever implement Ariba, right, the price keep on differs. Let's say you're the platinum customer for the SAP, you're using a lot of things. So they might give some better discounts. And also when the initial discussion happened, right, you will pay for the implementation charges. Later on, you will also have a deal for the support, like where we do the support from SAP Ariba and we'll get the support. So such a things will happen like.
Understood.
And one more thing, what I have observed, many customers are doing a pilot run. Like one of my customers, what they have done initially, they had like, okay, Ariba is good and everything. So initially, they only just implemented the downstream, and they started using a year actually. Later on, they were very happy with the tool, and later on, they thought, okay, let's go with sourcing as well. So in this case, they paid separately for sourcing, but they'll do the negotiation like basically because uh, it's not only Ariba, like they have multiple modules of SAP, lot of content with SAP, right? So based on these
Mhm.
terms and conditions, also they'll have different contracts. Let's say I have this is the main thing like platinum, gold. They'll call it different types of customer. If you're platinum or something, right? Even the response and the support you'll get much quicker. Like if not, the SAP will pay some uh, penalty charges for you. Let's say, for example, you're the platinum customer for the SAP and you have raised some request, which should be addressed in 2 days, but you haven't got the response in 10 days. In such cases, there will be some contracts where, in case, the SAP will pay you some money as a penalty. So, a lot of things will be in the back end actually. Just give you an example.
Okay. Okay. Good to know that. Okay.
So, such a way, they will, it's up to the customer. Like one of the customers, and they done the downstream, and once they complete the tool, and they're doing. And one of the customer implemented everything, and now they were saying they don't want Ariba, and we are doing the RFPs for them actually. And what happened in
Yeah.
such case, basically Ariba is a good tool. The problem is whoever the partner implemented Ariba, right, they took a lot of the time. First thing. Second thing, they haven't provided user training in a perfect way, so the initial failure affected a lot. Later what was happened, these people are not unable to know how to reach SAP team, like what is the timing and everything. So the complete customer got vexed, and they kept Ariba for 3 years, and now they were just trying to move for other solution like Copa or something. But basically, Ariba is one of the good solution because SAP is the brand thing and the integration everything. But it's all about the first impression, I can say. That was gone actually.
Exactly. The consultant who had worked on
Yeah,
actually there was
that's
some lag.
completely
Yeah.
wrong. Like, so
Mm-hmm.
whenever I used to give some demos to convince the people, those business stakeholders were saying only simple thing. Sai, like they took 1 year for implementing simple supply chain. I can't say anything for them. And they were expecting in a couple of months, and they do for 1 year or something. So I told, see, you already decided to move on, so let's see something good in the market. But as per my experience, it's SAP tool, right? We have the good features, and long run will be go so good. But once you guys lost the trust, I can't do anything. So let's do something else. That's what's happening actually as of now in my current project. So we are having RFPs with Copa, Jagger, Ironclad, multiple things were there.
Okay. Those are not SAP product even.
They are not SAP product. They are S2P solution in the market. Like if I talk about SAP
Mm-hmm.
solution, S2P solution in the market, right? We have Ariba,
Mm-hmm.
Coupa, Jagger,
Mm-hmm.
GEC, ISRTs. We have like many solutions, like top solutions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, they had just invited them for the demos and everything. Things will be same. Like only the screens will differ. Let's say what the difference you can see the user experience, and I mean the custom fields. Let's say for example, one tool might offer like these many custom fields you can get it for free. Let's say for example, only one thing I observed in SAP device basically the custom fields thing. They will give some 20 or something for free, and even the custom field they should create. We don't have the access to create. But when it comes to Coop or some tools, right, we can create our own custom fields. There is some possibility. Yeah. So those things
Okay.
also
Okay.
matter actually.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There we can. Yeah. Here we cannot do anything. We have to
Yeah.
request raise a SR and they
Yeah.
will make
Yeah.
exactly.
Because the thing is, even SAP want money, right? If they give the control to us, we will not go to them. So the
Mm-hmm.
money for the support or something get keep on decreasing. That's the thing actually. The
Exactly.
secret agenda. So this is complete like basic thing of Ariba. Any doubts like till now, like something if you want to add me something or something else, like both the guys, like anything, any even a silly thing is fine, so that I can learn something new, right?
Uh, till now, it's fine for me. The other
I
guy,
think the other guy
it's
Kaza, like it's fine for you, like because you are not completely from the Ariba background, right? You are clear till now.
Yeah, yeah, it's clear for me.
Yep, that sounds good. Then we can just see some talk about something about the CIG before we go
uh,
something to the.
just before you move
Yep.
forward. I just want to know, will you show us the Ariba network as well?
You
Ari,
mean the settings? I
I
mean,
mean, I
general
mean, I
Ariba.
mean the middle, I mean the middle part, because see, because here like I have worked with the buyer, I mean the buyer network, okay, which generally we use, and the Arima supplier network. But in the middle phase, the communication happening, no, that box,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're by network, you mean, right?
yeah. So the
Yeah.
Ariba network, I will you show us that one also?
These things I will just confirm and get you back based on the access level, like whatever the access level, I'm not completely sure. I can confirm you.
Okay,
So what I
okay.
can do from my side is basically, uh, we can, as I mentioned earlier, right? So we can just see the basic schemes of everything. Like let's say, for example, upstream, downstream.
Okay,
Our
understood.
primary focus will on CAG. Let's say, for example, if I got a chance, right, I you can even log into Ariba Connect as well. I can show you, okay, this is where I can raise some request to SAP. So I can say based on a possibility, all the basics I can cover because what I believe is end of the day you should have the basics. Like if you're clear the basic, you have the confidence. Even though let's say if you're just clear with the CAG basics, right, you can simply around get some project. But even though you don't get the basics and you have a document to implement, it will be something blindfold. Again, if something news come, it should be again from the scratch. So
Yeah,
our
yeah,
agenda is to
yeah.
be like,
SI, please teach us such a way that we will be bit confident enough to,
yeah, that's yeah.
exactly.
Because things
It
keep
would
on
be
changing.
really fun.
Let's say for example, a couple of years ago, we have the integration as SAP PAPO. Now we have CAG. Let's say for example, in
Mhm.
the upcoming 5 years, and nowadays the APS coming into picture. So maybe after 5 or 10 years, something new might come, but the things will be same. Only thing a little different. That's all. That we need to understand. That's all. So you need to be clear. Okay, integration. We do the web services. When I talk about integration, what we do, like master data, transaction data. What is master data? So you should be clear for the basics level stuff. Then whatever the new solution or the new integration comes, right, you'll be confident. Okay, I already know these things because I know the transaction. I mean, transaction data you're aware, master data you're aware. If you aware of the complete flow and the basics, right? So whatever the new thing can come up, right? You can try to adapt it simply. But even if
Correct.
you do something well, let's say for example, this CAG thing, you can see a lot of documents. Like if you take some document and if you implement blindly and you don't know like what is
What is
transaction
happening
tracker or something,
exactly?
yeah.
Hmm.
But you can simply if you have some integration or something, right? You can complete the project. But the thing is, you can't see even like what was happening.
Exactly, exactly. The background. Hmm.
Yeah.
Correct.
So our primary focus will be see what I can see basically uh, on the availability of multiple level of access something. So I can try to show you other things as well. So basically, what I understand is instead of jumping to Sage, maybe 1 or 2 days we can just see the basic stuff. Like let's say, okay, this is core admin or something like 1 or 2 days we can just see the basic stuff of Ariba so that guys can get the system overview. Let's say for example, Kajal is completely into Ariba. So if I just show the basic thing like okay, this is Ariba home screen, this is something something, then I mean like in a couple of days we can just discuss the basic stuff like okay to understand okay this is Ariba screen. Here we do the activity something. Then we can move on to CAG. So our primary focus is the CAG, like what are the integration. Then we can also go to SAP and everything. In meanwhile, if you have guys have any questions or something, let's say for example, you want to see something little about the sourcing, so I can quickly do something and show you those things. And other thing, you can just confirm based on the access, like what are the accesses we can have. So out of that, from that, the best we can do it. Like and also you guys also can do something. Let's say, for example, next couple of 3 days we discuss these things. So even you guys can also take some notes or prepare some documents for your reference or something that might help much for you. Like even I believe like if I prepare something, it will help for me. But if you guys prepare something, it will help for you. Let's say you're preparing some document for simple Ariba flow, what a different module, something basic stuff. If you prepare for yourself, right, you will keep it for the longer time in the mind. But if I prepare the document and send you for a guys, hardly you can remember for a month or something. Again, you need to keep on revising. So I feel like maybe like every week you guys can prepare something for your reference or something. So that might help her for you in longer way. Like if you think about it, thinking and everything, like learning and everything.
Yeah, Sai, correct. Thank you, Sai. Sure.
So now I'll just quickly move for the couple of minutes about the CAG, basic CAG. Just to understand what is CAG. And the next couple of days we can just cover the Ariba basics. Let's say, for example, little detail about the how the sourcing happen in Ariba, like different events, something. Those things we can cover for the couple of days. Then we can move to CAG. That's fine, right? This plan is fine for you, or do you want to alter something from my side or anything? Any
From
suggestion
my
from you
side, I
guys?
think from my side, Sai, see you are our trainer, so I think which is the best possible way to learn things in a proper way. I
Yep.
think you are the
Hmm.
best person to guide us.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Because I just want before what I was saying before you jump into something, you need to know where you're jumping, right? So I
The
want to
background, yeah.
understand, okay, yeah, background of Ariba and everything. Then you will get some confident, like whatever I say, that you'll get much confident. Like even though you learn something less, you should be much perfect way. Then learning heavy with missing of basic not completely right. So such a way, like I will just in a 5 or 10 minutes, I'll just show you some basic CA thing I can talk about you. Then next couple of 3 days or something, we can go with Ariba basic screen overview. Then you will get some system idea because as Kaja was completely new to Ariba, right? So then we can, if
Yeah.
not, it will be a little confusing for him. And other thing, it will be something for you as a refreshment and you can ask some questions for me. That's fine, right? For
Correct,
you both
correct,
of the
correct,
guys?
correct. I have a lot of questions. Definitely, I will ask. Yes, yes,
Yeah, no problem. Like whatever I can
yes.
answer, I can do it. Rest
Sure,
I
sure.
can just keep on learning from my side as well.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I was just talking about SAP CAG in a simpler words. See, basically CAG is nothing but if I talk about definitions like cloud integration gateway. So what actually happened, right? Initially we have SAP PIPO. So let's say for example, if you go some 5 years back, the integration was such a way you have Ariba, you have SAP MM. The middle layer will be this SAP PIPO, Ariba ITK, multiple things they used to use actually. So what was happening, right? Let's say for example, there was some purchase request got stuck or something. So whenever you want to monitor something or do something, right, you should always go to SAP system or you should always reach to some SAP MM consultant or a PAPA consultant. So basically, even though the requisitions and everything from are hodging from Ariba, right, we are completely dependent on the SAP. I mean the integration consultants. So what SAP Ariba thought, let's have something integration manner in a simpler way so that a functional consultant, like let's say for example, Ariba consultant should understand in the integration and do the integration. So then the CAG came to place. So now the CAG is something almost like most of the settings will be already predefined. So this came into picture. Another thing, the CAG is a free of solution. Let's say for example, you are just going into downstream, and now you want to use the CAG as a middleware. You don't need to pay anything as you already have a reverse solution in place, right? The CAG is the free of cost, and the main agenda
So,
is to is the main agenda is something. The integration should be happen with the Ariba consultant who was not much into technical thing. Like I mean to say the web services, those things like not completely integration thing. Also, the basic Ariba consultant should at least try to implement. That's the agenda actually. The CAG thing completely.
so Sai, like I am
Hmm.
complete. I'm not from a technical background guy, though.
Hmm.
Though I slowly moved into Ariba. Okay, I'm not a technical guy. I don't have much knowledge in SQL or these things. So I think Ariba. I think so. Then, but but Ariba, it's really it's such a system, like, if a guy know English, they can learn Ariba quickly. It's not a
Yep.
big deal, what I
Yep.
have learned from here. So I think
Hmm.
CIG would be the same, right? It
Exactly.
won't be
So
a too
whatever,
tough. Hmm, hmm,
yeah, same thing. Like whatever you mentioned, SQL or something, right? The when the initial
hmm,
integration was happening long back ago in the SAP
hmm,
PAPO, there used to be a lot of mapping, even some sort of coding was involved. Many things were involved
hmm,
actually. So it's
hmm, hmm,
something bigger level. The integration was, it's like something, at that case they used to see the implementation is something. I mean the integration in a bigger way. But when the CAG
hmm,
came in place, right? Now the integration was happening in a couple of months, not a year or something. And what was happening here, right? The CAG cloud and everything, many things are already predefined in the system, the backend. So only thing what you should do, you need to connect the both the system. You connect your SAP with the Ariba buyer via CAG. You just connect the system, pass on the data. So and
hmm,
even when I talk right here, you don't have any only thing you need to understand the process. Okay, you need to understand. Okay, this is web service. Okay, what you need to have the basic or not much like what is web service, like what is transaction data, what is master data. So those
understood.
minimal technical things are required basically. Okay, web service is nothing but something was carrying the data, carrier of a transaction data. Okay, so what is request, what is response. So those basic integration words are enough instead of having much deeper words, right? So that's the
Hmm,
agenda. Like
hmm,
when the CAG came in, it want to make Ariba consultant to handle integration instead of SAP and the SAP PAPO guys to do the complete thing. So now the integration is happening. The Ariba consultant will work along with the basis consultant and the SAP MM consultant. So basically, if I talk about the CAG thing, it is not only about the Ariba consultant. It's basically the complete involvement of Ariba CAG consultant. I mean, sorry, Ariba consultant, the MM consultant, and the basis consultant. We need to install some
What is the work of
certificates.
basis in the middle?
Yeah, basically we have some authorizations, right? So basically to connect that particular SAP buyer system to this particular ERP system, right? We will have
Hmm.
need to download some add-ons, some certificates. So
Correct.
those
Yeah.
things basically this SAP basis consultant can actually see, even we can download, but at the end of the day,
Hmm.
some work should be assigned to some people, right? Some things should be only
Okay.
assigned to something.
Hmm.
So these particular installing of add-ons or maintaining certificates, it, even if you can see that if you had in the support point, you'll get some mail from the support like, see this certificates was expiring. Please
Yes,
reinstall the certificate. You'll get, yeah,
I do get those emails. Certificate
yeah,
expired.
yeah.
We are
Those
renewing
things,
certificates. Yes, yes.
yeah, and they'll
Hmm.
mention some link. In those cases, what we should do with as a iBook consultant, we should check with our SAP basis consultant, and we'll
Okay.
provide the link. And these particular guys will download those certificates from the Ariba portal to their system, and they will
Hmm.
be actually responsible to replace or do something, and they'll be having some pass for those who are not completed. But that's actually happening, like the certificates, because something authorization should be there, right? Because if you don't maintain some authorization certificate, everyone, some other client can come to your SAP system, right? With the integration or
Hmm.
something. So
Hmm.
those things actually involved on the SAP thing, and basically the CH integration is to and fro. Let's say, for example, you do some setting in SAP. Then again the CAG you do something to and fro. It's not like you configure everything on CAG. Later you come and configure in SAP. It's not such a like it's step by step process. You just enable some setting in SAP, come to Ariba, enable something. Again it's like to and fro. Like you move here, again you come here, like such a way. It should be.
Understood. Understood. Hmm. Okay.
And the major benefits, I can say, first thing is that the Ariba consultant can easily, I mean, easily can understand the integration, like what was happening. But earlier, if the PAPO is there, right?
Hmm.
The normal Ariba consultants were not completely aware. Like, okay, they have just a blindfolded knowledge. Like, even they were not interested because it is much deeper, right? They want to don't want to keep their hands actually.
Understood. Hmm.
And also the testing also we can basically CAG we usually call some simple thing like if you enable configure test and deploy. So if someone talk about CAG, right, basically say this thing like first thing enables the required things from both the SAP system or CAG thing. Then configure like what are the configuration, the projects you create, the customers create, you do it. then test. You can test it and just deploy. So basically, if someone talks of CIG, it's basically like they used to say these words like in a higher way: enable, configure, test, and deploy.
Mhm. Okay.
Uh, and even with this integration, right, basically the time saving also much for the customer. Like initially, if you had the PIPO, right, it used to take much more time, but now it's like reduced time we can have the CIG implementation. I mean the middleware, I can say, and also the testing or something. And also the thing what I mentioned earlier, the CAG is free of cost. Instead of, let's say for example, you're using some middleware like deliver the PAPO, the SAP and Ariba is connected to your SAP system is connected to Ariba with some other middleware, something you're paying the cost. Okay, now SAP Ariba came and saying, see, you have Ariba, you take CAG for free. So for sure you can simply replace the tool, right? Because you are already using some middleware which you are paying a lot from your pocket. And now
Mhm.
that's another opportunity given by SAP. Like you already have using Ariba, take my CHE as a middleware, you can use it. So it's a free of cost
Understood.
basically. Like
Mhm. Yeah, though we aren't using CIG here, but I have seen that
hmm.
CIG under code admin. Yeah.
Hmm. Though you can enable it, but not required as of now.
Yes, yes.
And basically in our points, right, what we actually do, like you connect SAP, CH is middle, then your Ariba solution, whatever it might be. Like you take upstream notion something. Other connection,
Mhm.
basically what we do is like your SAP, you can keep CH in the middle to Ariba supplier network. Now it's basically they're calling as completely as business network as well, just to make you guys aware. So this way, the integration, you're just keeping the CH in middle for SAP to your Ariba. Another thing here you're using. This is for direct procurement.
Okay, this is for direct
Yeah,
procurement.
yeah.
That
One last thing I want to say, right?
I was also
Hmm.
doubting. I haven't seen this. Okay, anyways, thank you. So this is
Yeah,
for direct procurement.
yeah.
So this is
So
basically
one
from
thing to
MM.
make it exactly, yeah. So one thing to make it clear, right? Basically, as I mentioned earlier, Ariba is basically Indian procurement tool. Okay, and
Yeah,
once Ariba has good thing in the market, right, people are questioning like, why can't you make Ariba for direct procurement? Then basically in Ariba, what was happening? You are just creating your orders and everything. What was happening via your SAP Ariba solution to your supplier network, right? Ariba supplier network. I mean,
mm-hmm.
this way you're doing.
Accessible
So
resources.
if I talk about Ariba network is something the combination of supplier and buyer.
Correct.
So basically in your Ariba network, right, what was happening? You have n number of suppliers which were already pre-qualified or evaluated by Ariba. So what SAP thought, what the business thought is, see, already instead of, I mean, searching for the suppliers, let's say for example, you want to buy something, a laptop, so you're not completely aware. Instead, you go blindfolded outside without knowing something. If you have Ariba network, right, already you can see the complete overview. Okay, this supply is good for this thing and everything. So then what was actually happened, right? For the right, then Ariba, what SAP Ariba done? You connect your SAP MM or something like SAP system to SAP, sorry, Ariba supply network. So this way, basically, we are achieving the direct procurement partially. I mean to say, from your Ariba buyer, you are not creating the, I mean, the direct material order to the supplier, but you are creating the direct material order from SAP MM to Ariba network. So this way, you are partially achieving the direct procurement with Ariba. So this is also called as commerce automation, basically.
Commerce
Commerce
automation. Okay.
automation.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this came in recently, I mean, a couple of years. So this actually came because people are using the Ariba for indirect procurement a lot and lot, and they were saying, see, with the help of Ariba network, we are having a lot of suppliers. So why can't we use Ariba for direct procurement as well? Why to restrict? So what Ariba thought, like instead of altering your buyer solution with inventory, basically all the customers are already having the SAP. Let it be SAP, or if not, let's say this might be some Oracle or backend system. Even your Oracle, you can connect to the Ariba supply network. So basically, what SAP has told, so what are the master system you are having, we can connect to supply network. Such a way you can achieve partially your direct procurement as well. And this particular process, like whatever the SAP or the Oracle, you connect for the Ariba supply network for your direct procurement order, right? This is basically called as commerce automation.
This is a very good thing. So basically, the company don't have to move anywhere from their ERP, and they can connect through CIG with the network. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good stuff.
Even I have seen something where the company don't have Ariba buyer solution. I mean to say they don't have upstream and downstream. Simply
Mm-hmm.
they uh, connected their SAP amount to Ariba supply network with the integration. That's all. They have paid only for
Mm-hmm.
this thing because what they thought is, see, they don't they were much into direct procurement. In direct procurement they are not hardly using, and they thought, okay, Ariba network is something we have a lot of suppliers to collaborate, and the way the things were coming and working is good. So what they have done, they directly uh, done the configuration or something their SAP MM and connected their SAP MM to the by Ariba network. And basically,
Mm-hmm.
whenever they create a order, right, it was going to the Ariba network. The supplier was responding. Even that has seen, like in many cases, like they don't use any Ariba. I mean, Ariba solution. They were not using any Ariba solution, but still they are managing this thing because what I heard from the customer is, see, basically Ariba network is supplier network is something you already have a lot of pre-qualified or something. You can see a lot of suppliers. I can see, like whenever you want to buy something, you are getting a lot
Mm-hmm.
of options here. So they thought, okay, we don't want a Ariba for index solution. We simply want to connect our existing SAP MM or SAP solution to supply network. So we can find a lot of vendors and everything. We can connect with them and we can do the business for the direct
Mm-hmm.
procurement. So even this was happening, like as of now. So here, when you connect your SAP MM to Ariba, right? Basically, we play the CAG here. For the
Mm-hmm.
integration. If you don't want it, they were using some iDocs, anything else. Let's say, for example, now you're having the CG, but earlier you are using some PAPO, ITK, multiple tools, whatever the things about using. Same way, I have seen like some people are using CAG. If not, they are just doing simple iDocs they're using. Like. So I mean to say, like
So these
CAG
I
basically
this
you can
iDog basically this iDog is a different material, like different company material, right?
see
I
iDoc
mean
is
different
a connection type, like middleware or something
okay,
like connection, like iDoc document, iDoc.
okay. So there is no linkage with CIG and all for iDog.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Like let's
Okay.
say for example, you don't want to use CAG. Basically, you directly want to connect your SAP solution to Ariba network. You're already following IDOC way of routing for your other orders. You just
Mm-hmm.
enable same thing.
Understood. So basically, iDog is a replacement of CIG, I can say.
Not the replacement, I can say. See, basically, from SAP, basically from if you talk about general SAP, right? The PO
Mm-hmm.
output is basically goes via IDOCs and everything. Like IDOC is a document type, like which is sent actually.
Okay.
Some
Okay.
middleware
Okay.
thing similar to, you can say, simple way, similar to CAG, I can say, to make it simpler for you. So
Sorry,
what
can
I
you
meant to
repeat
say,
that one? Can
I
you
meant
repeat,
to say, like
Jyoti?
similar to CAG. Like see, now
Oh,
CAG is a
similar to
medium, right?
CIG.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
medium, I
Yeah.
can say, just a medium.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
the end agenda is to say, like you have your SAP system, CAG, and a Ariba solution, and you have
Mm-hmm.
your SAP, CAG, Ariba network. So these are the two integrations we are doing. Like when I talk about CAG, you do it for your SAP to the Ariba solution to manage your orders and everything. And if you want to, even if you also have the direct procurement to the SAP Ariba network, right? You can also keep the CAG. Like two things you can use the CAG here actually. I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
the end user of CAG is only two ways. Like
Understood.
And if I go to some PPTs, you can see the same thing, but some broader level you can say whatever I say the same thing. But if you
Mhm.
just quickly recall the PPT, it will be same way. Like see something like what is Ariba Cloud gateway integration, config. I already mentioned right. You need to have some add-ons, everything like where the base system will help in such cases like, and the customization if you have so many custom fields and the mappings like if you basically the good thing about CAG you already have the predefined mapping everything. Whenever you have the custom field or something, only those cases you need to touch the mapping basically. And
Mhm.
then basically in the see basically what you have two things like master data, transaction data, those particular interfaces. Yeah, you can see right. Ariba and here you can see right IDOC overview IDOC. So
IDOC, yes, yes.
Ariba, yeah, application integration, you can sourcing. Obviously, when you configure a solution, if you have the sourcing, you do it for sourcing.
Mhm.
I think this is something new. I think migration and multiple. I think countries with multiple an account. Okay, I think it's something connecting multiple systems. Let's say, for example, some customers have requirements such a way. If you create a purchase request for company code 100, you should go to the ERP system one. Some companies may have multi ERP. If you are aware, there will be concept of multi ERP. Some companies might maintain multiple ERP systems. Let's say, for example, they have five ERP systems. And those cases, what will happen, right? If you create the order for the company code 100, it will go for the SAP system one, 200 for the two. So those cases they were talking. When in case if you have the multiple ERP systems in face, how the configuration should be there, like those things, the large part is basically SAP
Okay.
landscapes.
Mhm.
So basically, we basically can concentrate like what is the complete basis of Ariba. I mean, the what exactly having the complete flow recipe, S2P and everything, how the things will happen in Ariba. Then we can quickly move on to the CAG. Basically, then we can see like what is CAG. Then parallelly, whatever access we have with the access and some screenshots of my documents or something, we can see like okay, you come to SAP, you need to enable this thing. Like step by step, we can make it part like one part. Okay, first thing enablement, second thing configuring, third thing deployment. Finally, in such a
Mhm.
way, we can keep on going.
Okay.
Clear any doubts?
Till now, it's fine for me.
Whatever you like, you're familiar with these things, right? Whatever I say, you're completely fine, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
SAP
Yeah.
part I can understand, but when it comes to
Mm,
Ariba part, so CAG is the only CAG is the only one through which we have integration, or through
as
CPI
an
also we can connect to Ariba.
yeah, CPI also we can handle it. CPI, PAPO, multiple things we can do. One of the thing is
Okay,
CAG basically,
okay,
and one way is CAG basically. Yeah, and one more thing like basically, if I completely talk about CAG, right? When it comes to CAG, I think the most of the settings will really flow from SAP rather than CAG, right? So basically, that's the thing I have observed. Like many SAP MM consultants learn this CAG because the most of the settings we enable, right? When I compared in the Ariba system, it will be much into the SAP rather than in Ariba. Like even though Ariba we have the different settings and provide creation in every enablement, but in SAP there is a lot of work to be done. Like you need to enable global settings, some vendor setting, lot of in the SPRO. You need to do a lot of things. That's the thing. Many MM consultants are learning CAG like yeah, as an add-on advantage for them.
these are the course content protocol.
Sorry, I'm unable to hear you properly. Can you come again?
Yes, try this.
Yeah,
The
yeah. This is the
one
overview
the
of the
slide
course content.
usually. Yeah, okay. What is the
Yeah, to
duration of the
make it
course?
duration. Yeah, maybe like it might take at least 15 days for sure. Minimum of 15 days. It's up to you, like how you guys like coping of the things and everything, how you're understanding. So minimum 15 days will be there for sure. Like at least 15 days will be there. Like because I need to discuss all the basic things, then we can move on step by step. So 15 to 20 classes will be required, like 15 to 20 at least. Like So that I'll just come up with the things like later on, maybe in a day or two. So I can showcase that for you. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, sorry. That's cool.
Yep. Okay then. Thank you guys. Yeah. Thanks for attending. Yeah. See you again.
Uh, okay, Sai. So I'll speak to Naveen. Okay.
Okay.
So probably our next class will be, don't know.
I will
Yeah,
confirm you.
yeah, we'll plan and we'll go according to that. Okay,
Yeah,
we'll
because
try
it,
to start
Okay.
as soon
yeah,
as
we need to.
possible. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Basically, I need to prepare something. Yeah, we'll let you know. No problem. Yeah. Any
Okay,
other
then
thing? Any
thank you.
doubt or
Thank you, guys.
something? Fine. Fine, right? We can move on, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Bye.
Bye bye.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.